Hi guys, Coach Jorge. After the video I posted about Lionel Sanders and the analysis about how he managed to run so fast in a seemingly unorthodox ways of running, some of you asked me about how you can mimic a little bit that, or how you can work on, for instance, engaging a little bit more of your glutes. So first of all, remember, this is not a one-size-fits-all. This is not something that everybody should do. It depends on the way that you're built and your characteristics. So if you happen to be a taller runner, if you happen to be a little bit more on the slimmer side, especially something like leg mass, if you happen to have more of a slimmer type of limbs, lower limbs, then you probably are going to be better served as following a more traditional running form, so to speak. So I'll address that in the future. Today, this is more aimed for people who tend to be not necessarily as tall, also that they tend to be a little bit more muscly, a little bit more built, and especially on the lower legs, like the joke that I have sometimes with Coach Yana is like, she has the mega legs, all that power, especially for the bike, and then she says that I have the mini legs. Depending on that, I want you to keep that present. But when you're trying to engage a little bit more of the glutes, basically what you want to do is you don't necessarily just want to focus on completely kind of like trying to generate propulsion, because that can lead to force you to have stride length, which what we're trying to do is just maximize every time the foot is on the ground. So the way that we're going to accomplish that, it comes a lot of posture. So what a lot of people tend to do when they see something like Sanders, he's engaging a lot of the glutes, and he has like a little bit more of an upright, maybe slightly forward lean. But what a lot of people try to do to push, they have this image of you always need to kind of like lean forward, and when they're not happening is now they have kind of like this position. And I'm exaggerating obviously, but when you're leaning, when you're during the support phase, meaning when you're on one leg only, at that point, what you end up doing is you're putting all the strain on the lower back and not on the glutes. So what we want to do first is make sure that we're activating the core. So it's almost like you lengthen your core a little bit, and especially the lower abs, you're activating those. So it's almost kind of like it's pulling a string from your head, and you're a little bit more upright. You really feel those lower abs activating, and then basically instead of kind of like trying to move your pelvis back, that again switches the load to the lower back, we don't want to. Basically what we do is we relax the knees a little bit. As you relax the knees a little bit, the hip moves slightly back, and now you're really beginning to work on activating this part of the glutes, and you really properly support it because the lower abs and the core are activating. When these are activated, then the pelvis really rotates, and then you have all the strain on the lower back. We need to keep this core engaged and feel those lower back muscles. So if you get on this position, relax knees, lengthen the abs, and then kind of like the butt sticks back a little bit. If you're feeling the lower back doing some of the work, what you want to do is kind of like try to stretch that upper body a little bit, and then just move that pelvis a little bit underneath you. So that way you're going to be more supported, more powerful, and the glutes are going to be primed to do some of the work. The main difference when you have a taller or slimmer runner with like slimmer lower limbs and things like that, they're going to have a cadence a little bit slower on the neighborhood of around 180 or so. They might have a little bit higher vertical oscillation, and they might have a little bit of a longer stride length. What's going to happen is from them, when they land, they have a body which is a little bit more lean. So when they land and they go on top of their foot, the body's a little bit more lean. And then from here, they do get some power from that glute, but at the same time, hamstrings and quads are collaborating, and it's like they are pushing by leaning, okay? So they run, they land, and as they're on top of the foot, they lean, and they're kind of like pushing the ground behind. The other leg, they land, and they get on top, they're a little bit more lean, and same deal, they're pushing the ground behind. Someone like Sanders, on the other hand, they're a little bit more upright, and the way that they are accomplishing the same movement is not by leaning so much forward, but what they do is they run, they land, and then again, when they're on top of the foot, instead of beginning to lean so much, they're more upright, and they really try to engage those glutes. So in this position, I'm exaggerating, you'll see right here, now I can push with being more upright and really, there you go, and really engage those glute muscles, which apparently my left one is a little bit weaker, which I know because I'm rehabbing an injury. So what is important to remember is that you want to do it right. So a way that you can do it as you start to practice is, first thing, a treadmill is great for that, and then you do what I just did a little bit earlier. You kind of like get in your position and then you start practicing moving. And it's a little bit more challenging for sure. The energy cost is a little bit higher. I mentioned that on the video, but again, it might work for some runners. It may allow you to run a little bit faster as you adapt. So once you get that, then you can start walking. And then first you start walking very slowly. So lengthen your torso, feel those lower abs activating, and the knees are relaxed. The pelvis is not pointing back, it's just relaxed. And I'm trying to make sure that I feel my weight or my upper body supported by my lower abs, and I don't want to feel too much strain on the lower back. And then every time that I push, I try to feel those glutes activating a little bit. Now it's going to become more subtle as you walk from when you're just stopped, but the whole point is just try to start developing that full feel, and especially as the leg moves back, as I speed up a little bit, then I can begin to feel each glute. 1, 2, 1, 2. I just feel the up of the glutes, just doing a little bit more work, but always keeping my upper body a little bit more stretch. I have my lower abs activating, and I'm almost like, I feel that I'm a little bit on top of my feet without shooting my pelvis back. I'm just relaxed pelvis, but I'm keeping glutes and lower abs engaged. And as that feels better, then I can build a little bit into a run. Same deal, start with lengthen torso, feel the lower abs. It sounds like someone stretching me. I'm a little bit on top of my feet, and as I land, and my foot is underneath me, I focus on push, 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 push. And that's how you do it. So you can use the visualization of push with your glutes, but always keeping the first thing in mind that you lengthen your torso a little bit, lower abs are activating, hip is relaxed without throwing it back, just relax with the knees relaxed. And as you run, you can think about someone put like a piece of strain on your chest and they're pulling you forward, or every time that you push, you can visualize the whole Clark Kent transforming into Superman when he starts taking the clothes off. Unfortunately, my audio died here, but what I was saying is that imagine that you're looking at the horizon and you don't want to see it bouncing too much. You always want to think that you're going on a straight line, and imagine you're running on a room with a low ceiling, so you're not bouncing too much up and down. You want to keep that body straight so you wouldn't hit your head in that low ceiling, figuratively speaking. So it's another cue to think about. So I hope you found this useful, and remember, train smart.